Most of the web is designed for efficiency rather than atmosphere. We've grown accustomed to the crushing weight of rigid text blocks on glaring white backgrounds. Space is built for utility, not for feeling. Injecting an organic mood into these pages usually requires a trade-off. You either load a heavy video file that hogs bandwidth, or implement complex JavaScript that slows down the browser's performance. The Ember aesthetic takes a different path. It uses the mathematical rules of cascading style sheets, the same code that aligns your paragraphs, to construct high-end digital environments. The challenge is to build a crackling fire using only text-based variables and math. No external images, no pre-rendered loops, just pure browser logic. A browser is essentially a high-speed rendering engine. When given the right set of instructions, it can transform a blank void into a responsive, atmospheric space that reacts in real time. We start by reclaiming the canvas. We swap the default white background for a deep, dark variable, and shift the text to a warm parchment hue to set the baseline mood. This diagram shows the fire's foundation. We stack 3 distinct radial gradients at the bottom, each with its own size and coordinates. By setting different transparency levels, the colors overlap. This compounding creates the internal depth and heat of a real bed of coals. To make these shapes move, we attach a FireGlill keyframe animation. This engine provides the rhythm. It scales the shapes upward along the y-axis by 5% and oscillates opacity, creating a slow pulse that mimics breathing embers. By combining these geometric shapes with a simple mathematical loop, we trick the brain into seeing an organic, shifting light source. A pulsing background is a start, but realism requires the unpredictable movement of rising sparks to break the symmetry. Each spark starts as a microscopic 2x2 pixel box. We use the border radius property to smooth those 4 corners into a perfect circle. This timeline graph shows a single spark's life cycle. It begins at the bottom of the grid, fully opaque. The spark rise animation pushes the dot upward. The code steadily reduces its visibility, hitting 0 opacity the moment it reaches the end of its path. When you loop hundreds of these identical animations, but offset their start times by milliseconds, the math disappears. You're left with a cloud of particles that appears completely chaotic. Once the environment is burning, we have to layer the human-readable content back over the top without breaking the mood. We give the hero title weight by stacking multiple text shadows. By layering different blur radiuses, we create a glowing halo that helps the text stand out against the dark background. We use a CSS fade-up transition to control the pace. Instead of the whole page appearing at once, the chapters reveal themselves sequentially as the reader scrolls. This layout map shows how the architect balances the typography. We use gradient fading scene breaks and dark bordered boxes for pull quotes to keep the text feeling like it belongs in this glowing space. Every typographic choice inherits the properties of the fire. The text doesn't just sit on the page, it glows, fades, and moves in sync with the environment. In a dark mode environment, it is easy for a reader to lose their sense of place. We need subtle interface cues to guide them through the darkness. A pulsing arrow at the bottom of the hero section draws the eye downward, providing a rhythmic hint that there is more to explore. In this viewport wireframe, you can see the progress bar expanding. It acts as a spatial anchor, showing the reader exactly where they are in the story. We also apply a rapid flicker keyframe to the navigation dots. This subtle movement keeps the peripheral vision engaged, reminding the user that the interface is active. These markers serve as a psychological compass. They ensure the user's journey is guided by the same code that creates the chaotic atmosphere. When we zoom out to the final page, all these layers, the breathing gradients, the sparks, and the glowing text, work together to form a cohesive space. This entire cinematic world is constructed from standard web code. There are no video files to download, just a set of instructions that tell the browser how to render light and shadow. Most web layouts use CSS for basic tasks like setting column widths or button colors. But those same rules for geometry and timing can be used as an engine for environmental lighting and mood. By mastering the relationship between mathematics and timing, developers move beyond simply formatting documents to constructing responsive, atmospheric spaces.